The final type of labor quote for IQ is a detailed services quote. To do this, we'll click New, search for the customer, and once again, we'll choose the standard work order. We'll put in a detailed description for the name and then a longer scope of work to describe exactly what we're going to be doing. Again, choose the specific job site, define the floor where the work will be performed, and make sure that all the participants are set accordingly. In our previous examples, we skipped the Services and Options tab, but in this example, we're going to go through them to choose specific labor that we're going to be performing, which will then contribute to how long it takes on the Pricing tab. First, we'll go to the Services tab, and we'll search for some specific services. In this case, I'll search for cubicles, and I know that I'm performing 20 of them, and I know we're going to receive, deliver, and install those 20 cubicles. We also have seating that we're going to be dealing with. So I'll search for seating, and again, receive, deliver, and install the chairs. We'll also look at some laterals. In this case, we'll have 10 of those. And we won't install them, but we will gang them. Of course, in real life, you would have taken off a sheet of information from the installation plans, done your counts, and then come in here to do this process. Now that we've got the quantities entered into the order, we're going to go to the Options tab. This is where we begin to define the site conditions under which the work will be performed. So if we know that our warehouse workers are going to be dealing with frame and tile systems, the time is going to be increased by 30% in the warehouse because it takes longer to do the number of parts it takes to handle inside the warehouse for panel systems versus frame and tile. If we're using forklifts, that's more efficient. If we're going to unload by hand, that's clearly less efficient. We'll go through and select all the different options that we need for this, including adding time for longer pushes. If we're going to unload on the street, we need more time, etc. When we get down into the actual system, we need to be able to choose the system of furniture that we're going to be installing, define whether we have power or not, and the number of PEDs and other components that we have to deal with are going to increase the amount of time. Once all of these are selected, we are ready to move on to the Pricing tab to review the quantities of time that IQ has presented. In this case, we're going to be looking at the cost view, as this is where the estimators typically work. Here you'll see the quantities of services to be performed, the number of minutes that IQ has calculated for each step, and you'll see the total amount of time that's been calculated for each task. From here, we'll add on our driver and truck time, use delete zeros, and come up with our final cost. Moving over to the Cell tab, you'll see the projected cell. If you have any documents that support this, simply come to the Documents tab, choose Upload, and grab the floor plans that are used for the demonstration or for the estimation, and upload those for future use. Again, we'll come to the overview, choose the level of detail we want to share with the client. In this case, you'll see that all the questions that were asked have been answered and displayed for documentation purposes, so you don't have to type these out in the scope. And we can show any level of pricing necessary to present this to the customer. Finally, go to Distribution, choose the people you'd like to send this to, enter your email, set the status to Presented, save and send. Once this is complete, save and close, and your order will be stored until approval.